Man, we got something special for you today. I am bringing my team with me on the channel today. And so we got 2 episodes for you. The first episode, we're just going to talk about our story. We've talked about the 508 a lot on this channel, but essentially I'm going to bring you a few of my leaders, not all of them. I wish I could get all of them in one room, but we can't right now. But that being said, I'm just going to sit down with a bunch of my leaders and we're just going to share stories. We're going to talk about what God has done in our ministry, part of our culture. It's amazing. And then next week, it's going to be incredible. Next week, I sit down with a couple more of my leaders and we just talk in the practicals. We're just going to give you some handles and some pragmatic solutions as to how we've built the ministry that we've built. It's going to be amazing. As always, if this helps you, if this becomes a value add to you, please use it as a resource and send it to some people. All we want to do is we want to bless people. Thank you guys so much. Check out this episode. Hey, with me, I brought my squad. We have a bunch of people on our team, and these people are some of my favorites. We don't have everybody represented here, but I'm really excited to bring you into a conversation with my leadership team. I have the privilege and the honor to be able to lead these people. Try my best. Some of them give me more gray hairs than others. But let me introduce you guys to a few of my squad. To my left, this is Juama Noronha. We call her Rue. Rue's been, how long have you been here now?
Connect almost 5 years, and with the 508 about 2.5.
And she's been crushing it for years. This is Christian Valencia, and my guy's been here for 2 years now.
Yep, that's 2 years, yeah.
Been killing it. David Pisagna, he needs no introduction. This guy is a big teddy bear, one of my favorite people on the planet. Also probably the biggest doofus I've ever met. This is Becca Mullen. About to be Becca Mora.
Yes.
Mora? Is that Mora?
Yes,
I don't know.
just like that.
I'm trying to get my white boy accent better. Kevin and Nicole Espinat, these two are married, incredible couple. They've been here for, you guys have been here for how long now? It's been 6-7 years?
No, okay. 7 years at Connect for me, and about as long as with the 508.
And Nicole, you've been here how long?
4 years this month.
And you guys met here at this church too.
At the 508? Yes, we did.
So big deal. One of my mentors, he said this. He goes, you can't go as far as your dream. You only go as far as your team. And so I love this about our culture is we got the best team in the world. I am convinced. There's no doubt about it. We got the best team. And that's really what I want to talk about a little bit over the next couple episodes is how we have what we have. A lot of it is, yes, 100% is the sovereignty, the grace of God, no question about it. But there's also responsibility of man. So we believe in the sovereignty of God and the responsibility of man. And so I just got some people on my team that I'm just like, listen, I'm not that good. Really, we have an incredible squad behind us. And I want to give you a little insight as to why the 508 is what it is. We raise royalty around here. Our message is we exist to produce
Kings and queens.
We exist to produce kings and queens. And so this is our mission. This is our goal. Even Pisagna knew that one. I'm proud of you for getting that.
I've been here for 6 years, so
I know. He just recently memorized it like 5 years ago. So it's been an amazing journey. And really, that's my first question. I'll leave it open-ended for anybody that wants to go into it. But when I talk to youth pastors, they'll come up to me and they'll be like, how did you guys do this? So they'll come to a 508 night. Pre-COVID, they came to a 508 night and they'll just be like, this is insane. Like, how have you guys done this? Not only how have you done this, but how have you done this in this area? Like, we're in this small little town. We're not in this metropolis city. We're not in this huge populated area. We're in a small little town in Massachusetts, New England, the land of the frozen chosen, what many people say. And how have you done what you've done? I get way too much of the credit. I think I get way too much of the blame too, anyways. But I get way too much of the credit. We have an incredible team behind us, and I want to give you a little window into it. So let me ask a question. Why do you guys do what you do, and why do you do that at the level that you do it at? Like, what does the 508 mean to you? That's a better question. What does the 508 mean to you?
that's a good question. I think I'll start because I was the first one to open up my mouth. For me, it was definitely there was an attraction right off the bat to the 508. When I walked in first time 508 2 years ago, I walk in and there's just people who are just on fire for God. And I'm like, whoa, like there's people my age that are just as in fire, if not more, crazy about God than me. And I just thought it was so attractive. And I'm like, and then I sat down and I listened to you preach, and I was like, okay, this is something I can get behind. You know what I mean? This is something that lines up with what I believe. And so with those two things in mind, I was like, man, this is something I want to get behind, and this is something I want to be a part of, and I want to bring my best effort towards this ministry. And so like it was just the attraction from the beginning, and then just being a part of the team and being part of the family that you've built here, that's been built here. It's just been it's easy to be a part of it. Once you get into it, it's easy to be a part of it.
It's awesome.
I think the biggest thing for me was just the family that is actually here, kind of like you mentioned. Before I was really a part of the family, I just felt super welcomed, and there's people that genuinely cared about me. So I think that makes all the difference when you walk into a place and you feel cared for, and that, you know, you mean something to these people, and you show a little bit of hunger, and you're literally given an opportunity to serve and to eventually lead too. And that's what we all care about. Like, we care about the people. If you walk through the doors for the first time, like, we have a whole team that wants to like greet you and get to know you, and we don't just want you to come in and out. Like, we want you to come in and stay and join the team and be part of the family to get the same treatment that we got.
Yeah. I think for me, I just think of life change when I think of the 508 and like what it means to me. I mean, I grew up in church, but never was I in an environment where I was surrounded by people who were my age or were just on fire for God. And so I remember that being what reeled me in, but then going through things in my own life, and what I love is we're on fire for Jesus, but we're so genuine. Like, no one claims to be perfect. We deeply care about each other. Like, it's not this fake facade that I feel like most people think happens in church.
Yeah.
Where people are like, oh, they claim they're like Christian, they claim they're this, but you know, on the weekend I see them doing this.
Totally.
It's like, we're just transparent here. Like, that's kind of what we promote is transparency. We care about each other, and when you go through things, like, we're there for each other. And so going through the last few years and experiencing things that I needed friends, like I needed a family to be there with me to help me walk through some difficult seasons, and kind of looking back and seeing how much I've grown, and knowing that basically everyone here like played such a huge role, and I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for the 508.
That's good.
That's
awesome.
what it is for me. Like, that's why
100%.
I love this community, and I'm like committed to this.
I love it because
my soul.
I love it because you know, you said it. We're not perfect by any means. We definitely know we ain't perfect around here.
Yeah, look at me. Come on.
That's for sure.
Yeah, everybody look at David.
But yeah, he's really like, yo, look at me right now. I'm the poster child of this. No, but like I was crafting this message this one time, and I'm like, you know, God calls us to be righteous and live righteous, but our church has a little ratchet in us too. Like, yo, we're righteous, and we're a little ratchet. Ratchet and righteous. It's a sermon illustration coming real soon to you. But I think, dude, we have some people that, like, one thing I love about 508 is we love to have fun. Like, yo, we're a fun culture. We're a fun culture. We constantly have house parties. We love leaders' advances. I'd love for you guys to talk about those a little bit. Like, what do you love about the culture of it? Like, maybe explain why or how we have what we have, but what do you love about our culture?
I think it's the honesty, the raw conversations that I had with a few people in the 508 community. You know, I came into our church broken, hurting, confused, and then through my team and people in our group, I was changed forever. You know, it wasn't even the worship or your sermons. Great sermons, by the way.
I'm just impressed you said it wasn't the worship. I can't believe you said that.
No, but it was the honest conversation that I had it transformed me, you know, and I'm better because of it.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know what? You're adding wisdom to this, bro.
A little bit, you know, I grew a little bit.
Devon, I want to tack on what you said, because I just think the 508 is so much fun. And, you know, yes, it's a family and it's a move of God, but we just have so much fun doing this. I remember the first time that we did a service, we weren't even the 508 yet. We were like the Connect Young Adults. This is a wicked throwback. And I was going to miss it because I was working. And so I worked at a moving company at the time, and I was so bummed out all day long. And then that day I jumped onto the ramp to go up in the truck, and I slipped and fell and I hit my knee. I've never been so happy to get a knee injury in my life. Because I played it up a little bit, but they let me go home, and I actually got to go to the service and move chairs. Like, that's just,
wow.
I just think it was so exciting. It was so fun, and I grew up Catholic. I never thought church would be so fun and impactful in my entire life. Like, wanted to leave work so I could go move chairs at church. So, and I think that's just like, that encapsulates just the enthusiasm that our team has, that people are so passionate about the community. Because it is a move of God. It's a move of God. Like everybody's mentioned, it's people's lives change coming to this. But not only that, you get a family when you come here too, and it's just so fun. I think those are all like three huge characteristics about the 508 and why people love it.
Yeah. To that though, it's hard to explain because like we all just get along so well. Like
we're actually friends.
Right. So it's not like we
fake.
pretend like we sit here and we have to serve together. But
Totally.
we genuinely want to.
Roast each other. Roast each other.
We never pretend.
No, kidding.
Good.
No, you know what? Something, I want you to finish your thought, but I just remember hearing people say this, like, yo, those are my church friends. It's like, no, those aren't my church friends.
My only friends.
Those are my friends. Like,
Yeah.
I can't stand when they put the adjective beforehand, because I'm like, no, this is really my family. Like, I think sometimes what happens is people, they might share a last name, but they really don't share a heart. And for me, I see all of you and like we're family. There's like blood to this. Maybe not physically, but spiritually speaking. So yeah, sometimes. Finish your thought.
We've played kickball before, so.
Oh, that's fact. There's been a lot of blood.
Stars through kickball.
There have been a lot of injuries in the 508.
A lot. Yeah.
I didn't get injured yet, so I'm glad. Emotionally focused.
Finish your thought. I want to hear what you're saying.
It's just funny because like we genuinely spend so much time together, and it's like if we're doing something, we're all doing it together. But it's like all so genuine. Like we want to spend time together. We want to spend our weekends outside of church together. But everyone is just, I feel like we do a great job at like welcoming people in where, like, oh, you're new, you're going to sit with that clique or whatever. It's like, we're literally a giant clique. So you don't really have a choice.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to be friends with us.
Exactly.
You can sit with us.
We don't give you an option. Like, you're going to be friends with us and you're going to like me. No, I'm kidding.
And then you're going to be added to a group chat and we're going to blow you up.
And we have, and then you're going to hate us.
For life.
Because we have, I think it's 74 group chats, I think, at this point now. So we definitely got a lot, but communication is constant. So people are always like, you have church every single night. You got church on Sunday. You got Brotherhood and Sisterhood on Monday. You got CLA on Tuesday. You got a leaders meeting on Wednesday. You got 508 on Friday. And people are like, yo, is this a cult? Yes, we are a cult. No, I'm kidding. We're definitely not a cult.
Can I add something too? I think that one thing about the 508 is that people are genuinely finding their purpose here.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fun is that you're so energized because you get to go have fun, but also you're serving God in your purpose and in your calling. And so I think so many of us would agree, like we have found our callings here, and that we've got to use our gifts to build the kingdom and see hundreds of people coming out on from where we started to just continuing to build and having hundreds of young adults coming out. It's so rewarding and so fulfilling to get to serve God in this way too.
100%.
And I think that's such a huge part of what makes 508 so amazing, incredible for all of us on the team.
Incredible.
It reminds me of when I first started serving and leading. Dev was like, yeah, I want you to lead the host team. And I was like, I don't really know if I have the type of personality where I'm like a people person. I consider myself more of an introvert. And everyone's like, what? And then looking at it now, I'm like, I can't even, clearly this is my purpose. I don't know why I ever thought that I couldn't do such a thing. And it's nice to be surrounded with people that call out the leader in you, that call out the qualities that God put in you to fulfill your purpose, and people see that and draw it out of you. Because sometimes we don't see it in ourselves, and we need someone to encourage us and call it out of us. So
that's great.
Yeah, oftentimes Becca will be like, P-Dev is my pastor, but I feel like she's my pastor sometimes. Becca's so busy. She'll just be like, Dev, I need you to do this. Here are 4 tasks. I need you to talk to this person. I'm like, yo, Becca, I thought I was your boss. She's got an incredible gift set, don't get me wrong. But I just love the community aspect of it. There's genuine family behind this. And I just think the culture is my favorite piece. Is I can walk into a church environment and we'll, for example, right now, you got people behind these cameras. They found their purpose really when we gave them cameras, and then now they just love doing this. We've developed a team. At least I hope you guys love doing this. and we've developed a team behind it. But people are just finding their purpose left and right. And then we'll work long days. As soon as work is done, they'll go to the church and we'll serve till literally 2 o'clock in the morning. That's happened multiple times.
That's how this started.
That's exactly how this started.
Until 2 o'clock in the morning.
putting away
You
the
might find your
chips.
calling or your wife. I say the 508 hangover is the realest thing ever, though.
Oh,
That is a
it's
big deal.
Can you explain that to us?
So yeah, explain with me.
Yes.
Because the religious people are going nuts.
Guys, how what you think?
The religious people right now are going like, yo, I knew they were drinking. I knew it.
That's exactly
We're
what you
not.
think. Anyone else want to explain? You want me to do it?
You said it, bro.
You all agreed with me.
Kevin's like, anybody else want to explain right now?
The 508 hangover is when you work all day at 8 a.m. Your shift ends at probably like 6 o'clock, whatever. That's a long shift. Maybe some of you guys do that. And then you go immediately to church and you're serving there without water until 2 o'clock in the morning. And you wake up the next morning, you feel like you got hit by a truck. That is the definition.
No, but wait, you forgot.
Scroll.
But you go to IHOP. But you go to
And then you go to
IHOP.
IHOP after because
Till
you're
4
insane.
And then you wake up the next morning at 7 o'clock because your kid slaps you across the face. Daddy,
yeah.
Daddy, where are you, Daddy? I'm like, Daddy is dead right now, Zion.
We don't have that problem.
Yeah, it's exhausting. But
That's-
We usually have a
It's great. It's the
meeting
best thing
at
ever.
8 a.m.
Yeah, normally.
Facts. It's like,
Yeah, now we got meetings. We got strategy meetings at 8 a.m. in the freaking morning, dude.
You're welcome. It's a good thing.
Jeez, dude, I just literally am a walking zombie at this point. But I love that about our culture. What else would you guys say?
I mean, I definitely think we need to touch on Leaders Advance. I think everyone has like a life-changing
God moments.
at Leaders Advances. And what Leaders Advance is essentially we get together as a team and go away for a weekend, either like up in the mountains or kind of it's usually in the mountains, and we just spend like 3 days together. We'll have like sessions as a team and just get poured into and like worship together and just really get led by the Spirit together. And for me, I think Leaders Advance is really what changed it, or I guess where I got to see like how God can really move through a team and like use people in my life to move like in my life. And just being able to like be in an environment where you're vulnerable, like you might be going through something, and like just talk to people and get ministered to and like hear from God through people that you really care about. I think it was amazing, honestly.
I think that's what changed it for me too. Is I had just started coming to the 508 and getting involved, not really serving anywhere, but just helping out. And I remember P-Dev asked me to go to the Leaders Advance. I was like, I am not a leader. I probably shouldn't be there. But I think that's where I almost got the leader called out of me. It's like, okay, like I feel like I belong with this family. It was just an awesome time all around. They prank you at night and it's horrible. And
You guys were so heated about that.
yeah, I was upset. But my first Leaders Advance, I slept next to Nicole, and that was glorious because neither of us moved. But we were up to like 3 a.m. eating snacks. I probably slept a whole 5 hours in 3 days.
Whole weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But they're just awesome, and I think our team has grown so much ever since we started doing those consistently. And just coming together, kind of finding where we each belong, and being able to pour into other people because we're getting poured into.
Like our first Leaders Advance, the weekend after, every single weekend, people were hanging out. They're using this chat, and they're like, hey, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to go to the movie theater? And it was like for the entire year until eventually it solidified as this is the 508 culture. So we are constantly with each other, and it's just the coolest thing. And I think what's so sad, and maybe you guys could speak to this a little bit, what's so sad is I think so many churches don't get to experience that. Mm-hmm. Like they don't get to have community the way we have. I think a lot of times people put on events or services, but we don't just have a crowd coming to an event. We have a community that God is really building behind the scenes. Yeah. That's a genuine family behind it. I think that's my favorite part for sure. Yeah. And that's something that I think about often, and we talk about this in our strategy meetings, and we talk about this all the time in every leadership environment, is we're just making sure people are cared for. Can you guys talk about that? A lot of you guys are all directors here, and I don't know, talk about the pastoral care piece a little bit.
Yeah, I would say, I think that if you come to a 508 and you go to, and you're lucky enough to be, so you're a first-time guest, and then we hand you a VIP bracelet, then you're lucky enough to go to guest lounge, we're going to get your information. So now we know who you are, right? And so if we know who you are,
Don't worry.
And we will find
you know when they say like we're not going to do anything with your information, we're absolutely doing so much.
Googling everyone.
No, but we get your name, we get your number, and now we're strategic about, okay, who is this person, and like how can we get them involved? What's their next step? If they're a first-time guest, if they're a guy, let's get them into brotherhood. If they're a girl, let's get them into sisterhood. Let's get the right people reaching out to them, seeing how they're doing. Once you're on our team, now we're strategic about, okay, how can we get them serving in areas where they feel called, where they can be used,
So good.
maximized, and where they can get the most out of us, but as well we can get the most out of them. Because it's really all about that's how we grow, is when we're in our exactly where we need to be, where God's called us to be. And so I think we're very strategic about putting people where they need to be. And then after that, it's like we're just in constant communication. Like you said, once you get in the group chat and you're never gonna not hear from us. And so we're constantly checking in on each other.
Single day.
Exactly. And so we're constantly checking in. We're texting each other, like, how are you doing? How's the family? You know, I'm praying for you. And that intentionality, I think, is what helps the health of our team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we say this a lot, but it's more like our culture is more relationship and leadership. But we want people, and this is what we say a lot, we want people relationally connected before they're serving.
Yeah.
So that is a huge priority of our team, and it's always been that way. I think you do an excellent job with that, by the way, making sure people are relationally connected, getting involved. We don't want you to do something for us. If anything, it's the exact opposite. Like you said, we actually want to do stuff for you. We want to serve you more than you serve us. I think in the process of serving, you find your people, you find your passions, and most importantly, I think you find your purpose. Every single person in this room found purpose. They found what we were talking about earlier. Like, you didn't know you were a leader, and now you're running a lot of the show in a lot of areas. And so that's what I think we are. I'm so proud of, to be a leader in this environment, because we just get to see dramatic life change for people.
Yeah, I think it's important too. Like you said, some people will look at us and say, "How do you get this culture of having real relationships?" Like, it doesn't just happen. Like, we're extremely intentional and strategic about it. Like, it's not just, oh, let me focus on putting on a really nice service and that's going to get me a really good team. Like, because that's not at all where our
not
focus
at
is.
all.
Like, we have meetings to go through new people, and we have meetings to go through, okay, these people are going to be reaching out to this person going to be able to reach out to this person. Like, we create the host team, like, we create VIP wristbands and make sure that new people are seen and are, we can get to know them. Like, these are things that we sit down in meetings and strategize and think through every single little detail, so that we can foster that environment where genuine and real relationships are being created.
So good.
So it doesn't just happen, for sure.
Yeah, I think to add to kind of like when it comes to pastoral care, I think we all probably agree that the small groups have done a huge part in facilitating that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I've heard people talk about the 508, you've like heard of the 508, you think we're like liberal or stuff like that. But this thing is doused in prayer, right? And we all believe in the gifts and power of the Holy Spirit, and you see that in our small groups and the way people just like really catch on. I remember one kid came to one of our small groups, knew nothing about Jesus, knew nothing about God. And from, because we created an environment where he could speak up and share his mind, and we got to have some conversations, like we made him feel like he belonged in the group. And from there, he gave his life to Jesus. He then goes on to get baptized. Then he starts inviting his family to church, and his family gets saved. And just to see the way that impacted his life, from going from knowing nothing about God in our ministry to, evangelizing and impacting others' lives and inviting them to church. I think it just shows you, like, there's a lot of power to this, and that pastoral care, like moving people forward in their faith, happens in the groups, and we help people get free in the groups. I just think the groups like Brotherhood and Sisterhood and the city groups, while we were running them, contributed to that so much. Like, we had a place where you could meet some friends and get to have those hard conversations like you were talking about earlier, David. And we provide an opportunity for that, and we want people to experience that.
Mm-hmm. So last question I want to ask would be this: is just tell me some of your favorite moments and experiences, whether they're services. I know people always talk about speed relating right here. Leaders Advances. I mean, Leaders Advances are certainly some of my favorites, but give me some of your best, funniest, craziest, best God moments that you've been a part of.
I think for me was the first month. I think the first service of the month that we had, like monthly, Heaven Come Down service. That was like a breaking point in our ministry.
That was
like,
crazy night.
Crazy atmosphere. I never experienced that in our church ever, especially in worship and in your word too, and in fellowship. I think it was absolutely insane.
We had to. So we have people flood our altar when worship is happening. And so we had so many people at the altar, and they were all jumping in the very beginning, to the point where my dad's like, hey, we need to reinforce the floors. Like people were, you guys remember this? Like you would feel the entire, they literally did. We literally could feel the entire floor shaking. We're like, yo, somebody's going to collapse and be in Kids World in a minute. Like it was the craziest thing ever. Heaven Come Down was an insane
Like
moment.
300 plus at least.
Yeah.
That night. It was
Yeah.
Almost came down and heaven come down.
That's right.
Heaven came down literally. Yeah.
I think for me, I have two, and they're kind of different. They're on different ends of the spectrum as to why I really like them. So the first one being revival nights. This
Oh
is
my
like
gosh,
a
yeah.
3-day
That was unreal.
weekend-long conference that we put on, like fully put on by the 508. Like no one from Connect Leadership helped us. Like we did everything.
And Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, we had free Chick-fil-A. And
We had a cow. We had a cow run
my
around
God,
everywhere.
Oh,
Cow was
yeah,
lit.
It was so good, and it was executed so excellently.
It was amazing.
And
We got to see the potential of our team that day.
it was just done so well,
Yeah.
and I loved every minute of it. So that was, I think, one of the highlights of being here. And then another one, I remember being in a Wendy's parking lot. Most of us are there, actually. This happens a lot. Like parking lots really late because we
Wendy's.
can't go anywhere else. It's the only place that's open.
Drive-throughs.
I just remember being in this parking lot with a group of people, and we had, I won't go into too much detail, but we had people there that had very different, like, opinions. Like, extremely different. Like, think people in today's political world, it's so hard to have a bunch of people come together and have a conversation and disagree on things. But I remember everyone sharing genuinely how they felt, regardless of, you know, what it is. To some people, it might have sounded crazy, but everyone around that circle was so understanding and so loving, and no one got into an argument about it. Like, no one was genuinely offended about anything. Like, we just all came up from a place from a place of understanding, and we're able to have this conversation and still completely disagree. Like, some of us completely disagreeing with each other, but handling it in such a way that I thought was, like, I was proud of that moment, to watch everyone just disagree, but still, like, be friends and care for each other.
Yeah, I think in this culture you can express your opinion, and you're not, you know, you don't get a divorce because of it in that regard. So I love that. Like, we do not have a culture where it's a yes culture, especially you. That's for sure. I'll be like, hey Becca, what do you guys think about that? No, we're not doing that. Oh, I didn't know you had the authority for that. No, but we definitely have a culture where you can disagree. There's a lot of strong opinions. There's a lot of strong convictions, but we love each other in the process. I think it's such a healthy culture where you can have disagreement. Yeah. What are some other awesome moments you guys remember? Go ahead.
One of my, so I when you pose the question, I'm thinking hilarious moments. I think probably, so one thing that Pastor Devon likes to do is you have your platform, but you love seeing others minister as well.
Love it.
I just think back to this one 7 for 7 night. We had 7 preachers going for 7 minutes. This one guy's just preaching the house down. P-Dev's up like, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But what he didn't realize is he was pressing the button on his phone, the lock button, and apparently that calls the police when you do that in 911. So
Not my best
literally,
moment.
I remember that.
Not my best
Pastor
moment.
calls the police on
Why is
us.
the cops here, bro?
yeah, like the fire department came, not to the church, but to your
yeah.
house. I just think like we just had some whole like just crazy.
Well, they
moments,
show
just
up.
bizarre moments.
They show up, they walk upstairs. First of all, we have hundreds of young people everywhere. They're like, what is this place? Is this a nightclub? And I'm like, kinda.
With
They
all the
walk
smoke.
upstairs. The whole place is hazed out because of the haze machine upstairs. So like, are you guys fishbowling this church right now, dude? And so literally the cops are like, where's Devon Frye? And everybody's like, oh my God, yo, Pastor Devon's about to get arrested, dude. It's the craziest thing.
The police are looking for Devon. Like,
Seriously. And they're like, Devon Frye, his cell phone called us. I'm like, dude, I did not mean to call the cops. It was horrible.
The best part is what happened at home.
It was what?
The best part is what happened at home.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, the cops show up to my house because they have it registered on file. And I almost said my address. That would have been terrible. Going off to Milford. They knock on the door. They walk inside the house. My son is sleeping in the time. And then
people yelling in the background, right? When
they hear
the call came
tons of
through.
people yelling. Like they're screaming because this guy's preaching right now. So he's like going in, and we're a pretty Pentecostal church. So people are like, oh yeah, let's go. This is insane. And so the cops, all they hear is this screaming in the background. So they barge into my house thinking that my father-in-law, who's watching my son, that my father-in-law is literally like beating my little son to death or something. So they walk in, bombard the whole house. It was chaos. So they end up asking like, we got a distressed call. What happened? And then Frank, my father-in-law, he was like, my
Watching TV.
son-in-law is a youth pastor. He's at church right now. What kind of church sounds like that? He's like, let's connect church.
I just remember someone in security came up to me and was like, "Hey, the police are looking for Pastor Dev." I was like, "Oh gosh,
What do you do?
what could be happening?" Because we've had some weird things happen over
Because
the
of
years. and,
weird things.
Like, I thought maybe they wanted to talk to you about somebody else. Little did I know they're actually
That's a
looking
whole
for you
separate
because
podcast.
you accidentally called 911 by pressing the button repeatedly.
Not
That was
my best moment.
Like, hilarious looking back.
Yeah,
Obviously, like, you know, for your father-in-law, terrible in the moment, but we've just had some funny moments like that over the years.
I think I love what we do outside of church. So, yes, we can all come together and like put on church for us, for the new guests, but just like we keep saying, like the community and the friendships that we have outside of church. So we do like volleyball, I don't know if you count tournaments, but volleyball games, like kickball. We get together and we go bowling. There's, like, a ton
Remember
of
when Justin destroyed Becca's life in
Right.
kickball?
Davis literally body checked me
Kickball.
to the ground
Dude.
Oh my
during
God.
kickball.
That was probably my favorite
And
moment,
I had
actually.
just started serving. I was like brand new to serving at that
She
time. I
almost
didn't
stopped
know
coming.
anyone. It was not great.
Yeah, I love like I guess it's our socials, but just our hangouts. Like someone's always doing something every weekend, and we're all together watching movies. Like we order a lot of pizza and bring a ton of snacks. If you join the 508, you will also enjoy seltzers. So
That's
that's
facts.
That's
That's
all
so
we drink
facts.
are seltzers.
My
That's
dad
so
gave me
facts.
50815 too.
50815.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nicole didn't say hers yet, but I'm almost positive it was when I proposed to her City group, but that could be. I could be
She was
wrong,
like,
but
that
I'm-
was definitely
I'm
top.
pretty
There's
sure
been a
that
lot of
was- I'm
proposals
pretty
with
sure
the
that was-
508.
There have been
That was a good
several
one.
proposals.
We've had DJ and Jess.
DJ and Jess proposed.
yeah,
That
on
was a
the
cool-
stage.
DJ was doing announcements.
Yes, he was. With Jess. They were
Yeah,
doing
with
announcements.
Jess. That was the craziest moment. He's like,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
awesome.
God loves us so much, and I really love Jess so much. And Jess literally just goes like this. She goes, and then she had no idea. You didn't see the video? Oh my God, you guys see the video? It was crazy.
Roll the video.
Maybe we'll post it. But she literally freaks out. Literally, the whole audience is like, oh! The worship team's behind them.
I
They're
was-
playing
I
in
was
the
in
band.
backflips.
Dude, it was
I was in
crazy.
backflips.
That was
And
incredible.
DJ gets down on one knee, starts crying. Jess is just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I'm freaking out. I had the ring in my pocket and literally was burning a hole in my pocket. I'm like, oh my God, get this out of here, dude. It was an amazing moment.
I would have to agree with Rue. I think that just our socials this past summer, obviously with Corona, like things got weird, and obviously we were supposed to stay indoors. But I remember as soon as we got the cue to, okay, you guys can do things outdoors, it was like beach day, like every other day. And so it was beach days, and then once we found out someone in the 508 had a pool, it was like we were
Shout out
having
Nat
a pool party at her house like every week.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row, yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, man, just the
Shout out to the
socials
cruises. They sponsored this video.
But the
Great
fact
point.
that our socials and us getting together all the time and just being fun, and also just having healthy fun too, because I remember like my definition of fun used to be surrounded by whether it was drugs and alcohol, but now it's just like we have fun, but it's healthy fun.
Yeah,
Just,
it's good.
We play
seltzers.
Mafia.
Yeah.
Yo,
I don't know
Mafia.
how healthy
yeah.
Mafia
That might not be
Mafia
healthy
is
fun,
not
yeah.
totally
It's not
healthy, but
Yeah.
the
Mafia is
adrenaline
make or break for
rush.
some people. Like, some
That's
people
true.
can't hang.
Yeah.
You know,
I lost a lot of friendships
This better
with
not
that.
work out.
I will say
I lose a lot of influence in mine.
it's extremely fun to beat Devon in volleyball.
Oh my God.
Really
that's a big
fun.
fact.
Ooh,
That's probably-
catchphrase.
Becca's not in the slightest competitive. We should-
Yeah, Becca has changed.
I can say a lot right now, but I'm not.
It probably is, to be honest. Totally probably is.
Favorite moments. A good one is with my very first 508 when you were imitating David on stage.
Say.
Oh my gosh, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
You draw near to
In front of hundreds of people online.
Big-
300
big
plus
fedora.
live.
On the other end,
I'm in the back like, well, nice Devin. We'll get you
Roo's
back.
advances have definitely been my favorite. I think I stuck around the 508 because of those. Rue has become one of my closest friends, one of my bridesmaids, because of our 3 a.m. eating brownies and Doritos at the Leaders Advances. We found a lot of breakthrough at Leaders Advances. You never walk away the room, always the tears in everyone's eyes.
It's an ugly weekend.
Yeah, it's so great. And even after we have our sessions at the Leaders Advances, we have these moments where we had someone playing the guitar and everyone's just singing together. Like, we're literally drinking the Kool-Aid and singing Kumbaya. Like, that's what we got.
Bonfires, cookies, friendships. Yeah, I love that.
And our socials are just echoing what.
When do we do what?
The first music band, we had bonfire. Remember that?
Bonfires, cookies,
Yes,
friendship.
yes.
We sat sat
Thank you.
around.
Thank
That was,
you.
that was
Dude,
Jeff's
what
first-
did-
Thank
dude.
That was Jeff's
Thank
first
you. You guys had
leadership.
one of the worst
That was
memories
like the
ever.
very
Yeah.
first
The
leaders
first,
advance.
yeah.
Oh, really?
We literally sat around
S'mores?
a bonfire.
massive
we had
bonfire.
s'mores.
Well, we also had the one that we all
In the
froze
summer
to
one.
death.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my
I
gosh.
I didn't go to that
Wicked
because that's
funny.
not right.
We're
Yeah,
not
you
very
did. You were there.
Oh, I did.
in Maine.
Yes,
It was
we were.
so
Like I said, I
cold.
did go there.
Mike's our best friend about it.
What was in the Kool-Aid?
Dude, yeah. What were in those brownies is more like
It's been a
it.
long day, Devin. Don't let me.
There's been craziness that we've gotten to do and see. It's been such a privilege. I've had so much fun over the past. I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I can't imagine doing anything else with my life. Genuinely, we've had so much fun. I love that we're not done either, and so this is not like
Just
a
getting started.
memento.
Just getting started.
Exactly, this is just getting started. So, hey, we want to thank you guys for watching this. Next week, we're going to come back and we're just going to talk a little bit more practical, like how did we build what we built? And I want to be a resource to pastors and to leaders and anybody that wants to learn some of those leadership principles and things that we've implemented in our ministry. I think it'll really add value to you. Thank you guys so much for watching.